Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of year again. Brothers against brothers.
We're Bruins up in this house.
Mothers against sons.
Brace for shot.
Daughters against fathers.
Daddy, what's a blue devil?
Alumni versus alumni.
Baby, go get the gun.
I present to you March Madness.
What up, America? It's your favorite crazy coach, Coach Ray, and you are listening to The Flow. March 22nd, 2019. It's madness going around here in this country. It's a blessing to be here with you as your favorite crazy coach in the Fishbowl Studios here in Arlington. My special guest today, before we dive into our March Madness special, man, she is an amazing, amazing athlete. I'm going to tease her up. I'm going to doll her up. I'm going to bless her up. Before we get into my introduction, I want to give a special shout out to all my March birthdays this month. Special shout out to Micah Aaron, who is my angel in heaven right now. Micah would be 10 years old on the 28th of this month. Micah is he passed away from neuroblastoma. In July, it'll be 3 years, and Micah touched my heart, the entire Aaron family. You know, through their battle with neuroblastoma, they blessed everyone. The TCU program, they surrounded Micah's family and made him an honorary team member for the baseball team. So, man, I tell you what, you never know the angels that are around you until they're gone. You know, and seeing Micah go through the battle that he went through, it definitely shows me that there is nothing that we can't overcome, you know, based off of our strength, our faith, and our belief. Continuing on, another special birthday, my good friend, Snapper. He's one of my favorite trainers, local trainer here, NBA trainer for Next Level Training in Dallas. He and Walsh Jordan, they take part in blessing people's lives, man. Another birthday I want to give a shout out to is Miss Mariah Richards of Shoe Crafts. Mariah, happy birthday. Thank you for blessing our soldiers with your aprons, and we look forward to being able to share more information about what you provide. Also, Professor Blomgren of Twerk Nation. Professor, thank you for lighting people's lives up with your gift, your joy, your spirit, your passion for everything that you do. And anybody else that has a March birthday, thank you. I'm celebrating you. Shout out to my cousin Chris in California. I love you, boy. Keep blessing people with your barbecue. Everybody loves barbecue. Everybody loves food. So keep touching people's lives. Continuing on, it's March Madness. I'm your favorite crazy coach. And my special guest, she's a local legend. She's a national legend. She's a phenomenal person, a spiritual leader. And she has overcome. She has an amazing story that I cannot wait to share with you. But before I do that, what I have to do, we're going to take a walk down memory lane. Let's see what we got.
Between the two of them the last 5 years. It's been a great rivalry for women's basketball. Ashley Robinson is fouled. A 47% free throw shooter. Why do you get the ball into her hands?
Well, I think that was your ideal option, but she's got the biggest side. And so as that count starts getting toward 5, the inbounder's thinking, just somebody, please come to me.
Ideally, Tennessee wants her to make both, but if at least she makes one, then Connecticut would need a 3 to tie and send us to overtime.
What percentage was that?
Hey, you know, at this point, again, a terrific game by Diana Taurasi, who can only sit and watch. And that should do it.
That's the nail.
That should do it. Coming up next, we'll go to Cincinnati and Charlotte. Bob Carpenter and Larry Conley. Woo!
Well, thank you, Robin.
Well, we're back here on the Fishbowl Radio Network. This is The Flow with Coach Ray, and we took a walk down memory lane. It's March Madness. Today, man, I tell you what, the women's tournament starts up, and my special guest for this journey is legendary Ashley Robinson. What up, A-Rob? How you doing?
Hey, Coach Ray. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's
That was fun.
such a blessing. It's such a blessing for you to be here, blessing our listeners out in not just locally, but around the world. We got listeners in Colombia, Venezuela. You're touching people's lives. Today, man, walk me through, for those that don't know who you are, okay? Before we get into who you are, walk me through that scenario that we just heard. Right? What happened right there?
That scenario was we were playing UConn at UConn my freshman year at Tennessee.
The UConn Huskies, okay.
The UConn Huskies. They were playing the University of Tennessee Lady Vols.
The University of Tennessee.
That was whenever, that was big rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Everybody looked forward to those games. We played them once away, once at home, and then we would maybe see them in the Final Four, which we end up seeing them 3 Final Fours when I was in school. But that particular game, I had just played for Gino at USA Basketball. He was my head coach. So that was pretty cool. And then, so he always messes with me about if you come to UConn, you be the best center in the country. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So we're up at UConn. I think we're up by 2 points. And they have to start fouling. And so, obviously, he's going to foul me. I think my percentage, what did they say, 47%?
47%.
So, I was the likely one to get fouled. And his team was disciplined. So, obviously, it was the reason why I was open to catch the ball. They had everybody else covered. So, I break to the ball, catch the ball, get fouled. I'm sure Coach said, form, blah, 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 this, you can make it. But back then, I was a cocky 18-year-old, top 5 in the country. Cool, foul me, national television, Robin Roberts. Game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was aware of all that, being a basketball geek. So, step up to the line, make 2 free throws, get my street cred for the rest of my life against UConn. We beat them. That was the only time we beat them.
The only time?
Yeah.
Holy smoke. So as a freshman, we're talking to young athletes out there. As a freshman, you were highly touted, number 5 in the nation?
I was like number 1, 2.
Number 1, 2 coming out of high school?
Diana being number 1.
Okay.
Most polls, but me in some polls.
Got you. So the pressure is on you. And looking at the footage, when you got the ball, to hear the commentators, Robin, who's from Pass Christian, Mississippi, right down the street from Long Beach where I grew up. But to hear her say, why would you foul her? Why would you foul her? Man, you had to have some kind of nerves. You weren't nervous at all?
Of course I was nervous. I was a 47% free throw shooter, but those are the moments that's why you go to Tennessee. You go to Tennessee to have to fill the shoes of Tamika Catchings, Shamika Holsclaw, Bridget Gordon, Holly Warlick. We have so many greats, Candace Parkers, but I was before Candace. So
Got you.
Back then, it's like, we still had a lot of great examples. And that team that I played on, our seniors, was the team that went undefeated in 98 to win the championship. So, they were pretty confident.
I remember that 98 team.
Yeah.
That's the year I graduated.
Okay.
So to see you at that free throw line where I was overseas, okay, in the military. And I remember 750 specifically because my supervisor, EM1 Lawson, we called him Buddy Lee because he looked like the Buddy Lee action figure. If you're listening or you're watching, EM1 Lawson, The Secret's Out, okay? But he was a huge Pat Summitt fan and a Lady Vols fan. And so to see that whole footage, looking back, I knew right where I was. I'm watching, like, man, they got to get it. They got to get it because we got 2 powerhouse teams, UT, UConn, national championships versus national championships. And this is where every young girl that has come up in the game, these are the 2 premier programs that every young lady that plays the game, they desire to go to, And so for you to step up there, sink those free throws when opposition was against you, even knowing that Coach Gino was trying to get into your head, you sank those free throws like you were a vet, 90% shooter. And the funny thing, I cracked up laughing to see and know who you are now, but to see the elation that you had when that buzzer sounded off. I saw nothing but straight legs running down the court, pumping your arms. You guys did it, man.
Right? Thank you, Jesus moment, to make those free throws. And it's a joke with my teammates. We talk about it all the time, especially that I'm a coach. You make the kids shoot the free throws. Well, there's always the kid that misses the free throws and everybody has to run for them. that was me. So the fact that I made those free throws, it's funny. It's funny when I talk to Sue Bird. It's funny when I talk to Swin, Diana. But it's even more hilarious when I talk to my teammates that had to run for me all the time for missing free throws. But hey, that's why your coach puts you on the line and say the team has to run if you miss, and the team doesn't have to run if you make it. I made it in that situation. So all those days of them running for me in preseason was worth it at that moment.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, during that process, and this reiterates something that I always share with my players, that you have to be the best teammate that you can be in order to be the best basketball player. So in that process of you having to run, you're a freshman coming in, you got seniors on the team. You know, why do I have to run for this freshman? I'm pretty sure you got heckled.
I mean, of course, but I was big freshman on campus that year. I was top recruit coming into Tennessee. I was one of the top recruits in the country. So the seniors treated us really nice, but of course they're not trying to run for some freshmen. You know, like if you want to get all these minutes, you need to make free throws.
Got you.
So.
That's huge. Speaks volume to the teammates that you were surrounded by. But that's why legendary coach Pat Summitt, you know, that's why she got 750 that day. You know, she went on to win over 1,000, you know, and it speaks volume when it comes to that culture and environment to play in and come up in. Now, we're going to continue diving into who you are, Ash. You know, you're local. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Grand Prairie through and through.
Where'd you go to high school?
South Grand Prairie.
South Grand Prairie. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about what it was like being a highly touted recruit just coming up in this area.
We have a lot of great talent to come through the DFW. I just happen to be one of them, but I am one of those that went to one Grand Prairie Elementary, one Grand Prairie Middle School, and went to South Grand Prairie. So I am DFW through and through and really Grand Prairie through and through. It was nice. I was 5'10" at 10, 5'11" at 11, 6'2" at 12. I think it helped that my parents kept me in one place.
Wow.
You know, where people can celebrate that. It wasn't as weird for them. I mean, being 6'2" at 12, it was crazy. But I always say, I always tell a little story about being a sixth grader that was 5'11". There was one of my friends, and we're still friends, his name is Derek Daniel. He told me in the sixth grade, you'll be the most beautiful whenever we come back for our 10-year anniversary. And when we came back for our 10-year anniversary from high school, we laughed about that. He married most beautiful of our high school, and she's still most beautiful, Crystal Ruth, now Crystal Daniel. But I remember him telling me that, and I like to tell that story because that's the type of support I had growing up in Grand Prairie. Everybody was kind of nice and just nice to me and encouraged me to do my best. The community rallied behind me. I had good parents that were there for me. My siblings were awesome, but the community really rallied behind my talent and encouraged it versus tearing it down. And we had young kids, like 11-year-old boy, knowing that I probably needed to hear, like, you're pretty at 11.
Wow.
I'm sure, no way I don't know if Derek really believed that, but it changed my life, you know, and so that was the support I had in Grand Prairie.
I love to hear that because you're homegrown. You've been supported by the village. Mm-hmm. You go off to pursue your dream, and you come back, and you're able to give back. Right. You know, and being in Dallas, you know, that reminds me of a fight that I saw this past weekend with Errol Spence. You know, him being homegrown on the biggest stage in front of his friends and family, you know, a city that enveloped him and helped him and nurtured him to be able to be in that platform right now, you know, and not to mention it was a great fight too. He killed the kid. But just getting back to your upbringing, you spoke about your parents, you know, and what kind of foundation did they set for you?
They set a really good foundation. I come from divorced parents. They separated, divorced when I was about 10. But my dad was at every game. My mom was at every game. My mom definitely was the boss lady. So my mom made sure that I was in the right places. So whenever my AAU team came and recruited me at 12, she made sure they knew this was to make me better. This wasn't about anybody but me making it to college, not them, not the program. The program was going to be as good as me. And so she really stayed. She was a good momager when it comes to that. And my dad was kind of like the the one that took the pressure off a little bit. 6'8", played overseas, played in the Pro-Am, got to play against Mailman, the Worm, which is Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone, if people don't know their nicknames. So I grew up going to a lot of Pro-Am games in the hood in Dallas. So that was cool, too, to get to be in that environment and be this little girl out hanging with my dad after his games at the gas station where they all used to get to drink beer and, you know, smoke cigarettes.
I love it. I love it. So you grew up in the culture.
Yeah.
And for those that are just tuning in, I'm sitting here. I have the great privilege for March Madness to sit here with Tennessee Volunteer alumni Ashley Robinson, who got to participate in March Madness 4 out of the 4 years.
3 out.
3 out of the 4 years.
Yeah. Well, I participated 4 out of the 4 years, but you know, for we Tennessee girls, when we think about participating, it's like Final Four. So
Got
I
you.
went to 3 Final Fours.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you went to 3 dances.
Mm-hmm.
3.
3. Back to back to back. We lost them all, too.
Hey,
Ugh.
you know what? You made it there.
Mm-hmm.
You made it there 3 times. And to make it there 3 times, back to back to back, it takes resilience.
Yeah.
And that's what your team demonstrated. Now, I'm pretty sure you have some stories to probably give back and the what if, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that in the second hour when we start breaking down the women's bracket. But just continuing on, you went to South Grand Prairie High School.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What were some of your fears when it came to you stressed about the abnormality of being tall, you know, and how Dee gave you those words of encouragement, you know, and he spoke life over you at 11 years old. It speaks volume. Speaks volume to who he is, you know. But what were some of those fears, you know, as far as you growing into Ashley Robinson as a young lady? Because we have a lot of young women that play the game. The game has changed tremendously. You know, i.e., for example, growing up in '98, I would never think of having 5 female basketball players on the cover of East Bay Magazine. And I am dating myself, my age, with East Bay Magazine.
Right.
But just recently this year, there's 5 basketball players, female basketball players, on the cover of East Bay Magazine. So it speaks volume to the effort that you put in and former players to get the game to where it is right now. So what did it take for you to develop that confidence in yourself as a woman, but also in yourself as a player to be able to achieve the dreams that you had?
I think the main thing for me is what I'm doing with kids now. It all comes full circle. There comes a time where you have to have that coach, or that if you play sports, you're going to have that coach that tells you, hey, you can do this for real. You can go do whatever you want to do. And luckily, I got to start going to All-American camps really early. So what I'm doing in the community now is bringing everything that I had to leave the community for. I'm bringing that back to my community. So I got to go to elite basketball camps, like being Blue Star elite player, and get to go to this elite camp where when I walked in, there was 10 girls my size, 6'2" at 12. I walked into a camp where there was 10 other girls that were 6'2", 6'3", and my age. It was eye-opening for me. It was life-changing because now I knew, okay, 1, Grand Prairie is small compared to the big world, and 2, none of these people love you like those Grand Prairie folks, so you got to learn to destroy them. And I think that a lot of people think that may be a little too intense for a 12-year-old girl, but that's how you can play 10 years WNBA off of injuries and have a real career. Because everybody in front of you have to destroy whenever you leave your family and you leave your nest. And so as a young kid, I got that lesson at 12, where I went from being the biggest, the baddest, to just one of the kids on the block. And then how do you become better than all them? Pick them off one by one and destroy them.
You developed that mentality, and what we call it now, that Mamba mentality, you know, before Kobe made it famous. But you had to develop that Mamba mentality to be able to go get it. And we're speaking to, and this speaks volume to our up-and-coming athletes, whether you play basketball, whatever you play. No one is going to give you anything. No one is going to give you anything when it comes to you pursuing your dream of becoming a next-level athlete. So you have to develop that mentality, that strong mindset that nothing will break you. You have to find opportunities to motivate yourself to be able to pick apart that list. you know, and we literally have to discuss the fact that it's important that mind state to be had in order to achieve those goals. You know, so continuing on, Ash, man, that speaks volume to who you were as a 12-year-old, just a 12-year-old. You know, you realize the situation. Whoa. I'm surrounded by giants. They look just like me. I can just envision that mind state, and you walking into that gym. Whoa. Okay. Well, we as athletes, we challenge ourselves.
Right.
You know, you have to be able to challenge yourself. Okay, let's see what they have.
Yeah.
You know, and what was the competition level like?
Well, the competition level was like some of the girls were older because I was also a young 12-year-old. My birthday was August, so I would be 12 the entire 7th grade year. So I was going up against 8th grade girls and girls my age that were a little bit older. But I walk into every situation like, it's not a mean type. I'm a nice person, so I walk into every situation like, oh, okay, this is cool. These tall girls, maybe I can be friends with them, you know, because everybody was nice to me in Grand Prairie. So that's what I gave off at this stuff, like nice person, social butterfly, let's be cool with everybody, let's have a good time. But when it came to compete, it does make it easier to compete because it becomes fun. Now it's like I'm here with my friends, and I'm here getting better with my friends. And these are my friends out. These are the only people that understand me were these girls. And so it was super cool, but the competition was excellent. I still remember like different girls' footwork that we would, like one girl was like the master post player, and we all had to learn her footwork because her coach was the post player coach at the All-American camps. So we would learn her footwork, but her footwork was excellent. It was a great thing for all of us to learn.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So you learned from another player, pretty much.
Yes, 8th grader.
An
I
8th
was
grader.
7th grade. She was 8th grade, putting in work with that footwork. And so we all wanted to learn that footwork, but something that I always knew that I brought, and Coach Summit was one person that really identified it right away, what I was going to play why I was going to have a long WNBA career, but I was just more athletic than the normal elite level athlete even. Their athleticism was just, okay.
Right.
My athleticism was ridiculous, you know, dunking off a vert at 15, able to run sprints, run the 100-yard dash, 200-yard dash, sprint relay, 800-meter relay, you know, able to do that at 6'4", 6'5", ended up being a really, really, really great gift from God for me.
So, Coach, you spoke on running, jumping. Did you run track?
I had a coach. I did run track in junior high, but I had a coach in high school. Coach Sharon Bruner, she's still at South Grand Prairie. She made me run track my junior year. She was an All-American track star from Texas Tech, and I think that this was her way to pour back into me. This was her way to say, I see talent, and of course that helps her track team, but it directly affected my entire recruiting season going into that summer of my junior year because I ran track and I was in shape and I was able to run like a horse, like a real horse, like gone.
And that's what I saw when you hit those free throws.
Right.
Straight gazelle.
Out of there.
Down the pike. And I ask you that because a lot of young ladies don't understand the importance of running track and how that helps your basketball career, because to me, you will never, having coached track myself and run myself, you will never get a workout like a track workout,
right,
because you're really testing your body to new heights. And what that equates to in basketball terms, you have a better motor. And literally, when you came out of high school, I read a couple of the write-ups, you know, and you were predicted to be it when it came to, because we had Shamika Holdsclaw before you, Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, for UConn, Rebecca Lobo, you know, so all these greats that have paved the way, you were projected to be it. And one of the things that I'm picking up, in order for you to make your package better, you doing that year of track, that helped you better your package and your brand.
Totally. It helped me better my package, and also was a 4-year starting varsity volleyball player.
Okay,
and,
so we're talking about a triple sport athlete.
If Coach Summit wouldn't have been Coach Summit. And I would have been able to say, no, Coach, I really want to do this. I'm going to do it. And she would have been like, all right, you can do what you want. She wasn't a do what you want. She was a do as I say.
Do as I say.
And so I wanted to do volleyball and basketball even in college because I thought volleyball was something that just directly, it helped me. My vertical was sick and my shot blocking was, I mean, you know, people can argue about it. We can argue about it, but I'm guaranteeing I'm top 5 shot blockers ever to play women's basketball.
I love it.
Period.
I love it. Claim that. Claim it. So defense helps win championships.
Defense wins championships. Period.
Bottom line.
You got to score the ball, but if they can't score, then we both be a 0-0.
I love it. I love it. For those listening in right now, this is Coach Ray, your favorite crazy coach. We're here in the Fishbowl Studios, Fishbowl Radio Network in Arlington, and this is The Flow, the platform for former athletes, current athletes, and coaches, current coaches and former coaches. The vision of The Flow is we want to give back. We have stories, we have advice, we have experiences to help our younger athletes and even our current athletes that are pursuing the next level for anything that they're trying to pursue. And one of the things that we want to focus on and emphasize with here on The Flow is that you have an opportunity. If you wake up in the morning, God is giving you another day. You have an opportunity to overcome everything that you've faced in order to be the person and achieve the dream that you want or you have in store. But it takes a village. It takes a village, and that's the purpose of The Flow. We want to be the village for you athletes coming up and local businesses that are bridging sports and business together for the community. We're here for you. So I'll be canvassing the area continuously. I want to find out who's got a story. I want to find out how can you give back. I want to find out what you entail, what's your brand like, you know, what have you gone through to be able to help someone in need, because the more we do that, the better we are, because we live in a world where there's anger, there's hatred, there's too much division. So we want to be able to use this show as a platform to break down those walls. And I'm sitting here with the legend herself, Ashley Robinson. And yes, I'm saying legend because of what she's endured, the levels that she's reached in her game, the professionalism that she continuously exhibits. She's a legend because of who she is every single day, and not just what she's accomplished, but how she's given back. And that's what I consider a legend in my eyes. So thank you, Ashley, for joining in today. And it's March Madness. March Madness. We're going to dive into the women's bracket in the second hour. You know, unfortunately, the Lady Horned Frogs, local team that I'm supporting, rooting for, we didn't get in, but they're playing tomorrow. So if you're able to, get down to the Schollmeyer Arena at 2 p.m. They face UTA, the Lady Mavericks of UTA. And I tell you what, Coach Peebley, she'll have the girls rocking and rolling. They faced Prairie View A&M last night, beat them by 30. Yep. Okay, that's out of the way. Now we move on to our next opponent tomorrow. So Coach P and the girls go out there and represent the Frog Nation big time. And also the guys. The guys are in the NIT, unfortunately. It happens when the selection committee comes around. You know, they pick and choose who they want to get in there. However, we're still playing. Frog Nation, you're still playing. Get out there. Go get it, Coach Jamie Dixon, Coach Cross, A-Rob. You guys go out there and have fun and play the game of basketball. And so, Ashley, luckily, you never had to deal with that at Tennessee.
I didn't, but they got close this year. I don't even know what it would be like to look at Pat and not be in the tournament. So that wasn't even a question. My freshman year, though, we got knocked out in the Sweet 16, and that was, like, unheard of. So I do, like, have advice for the girls that are there. Even though that's not as bad as what they went through, at the time, that was, like, the worst thing that you could do as a Lady Vol, get knocked out in the Sweet 16. But you got to come back the next year ready to play. And the cool thing about them, it's March. And anything can happen, and they can shock the world. All you got to do is get to dancing. Get to dancing. And they could totally change the way that everybody looks at Lady Vol basketball by the way they play against UCLA.
Oh, why you do me like that? You called me out right there.
A little bit.
You called me out. we were selecting our brackets, because for those that don't know, the Flow with Coach Ray, we have our bracket challenge. The winners of the challenge, if you're local, you get a chance to co-host the show with me April 12th. But as we were going through the bracket selection, my daughter Samantha, we came up to that point, UCLA versus UT. Yeah. She picked UCLA. I told her to pick UCLA, and that's what we're going to roll with.
Roll with it. But
that's what we're going to roll with, A-Rob.
These Lady Vols about to dance. I wish I could vouch for them, though, Like, their game has to speak for itself. That's what I tell every kid that I train. Hey, I can say what I want to say. I can rep our team. My resume doesn't change. It's a fact. But it's the same thing for those Lady Vols. Lady Vol resume, everybody talking about, is Pat's legacy dead? Her legacy can never die. She is the epitome of elite level sport and elite level women's sports. Come on. She's a legend, and her legacy will never die. But those Lady Vols, they got to live with that for the rest of their life.
But you know what? Legends like yourself, alumni like yourself, you won't let Coach Pat's legacy die. I know that.
Never.
I know that 100%. And there's a reason why God gave you the opportunity to play for her. And you know what? That's the pinnacle. That is the pinnacle of college sports, women's coaches. She is the epitome of excellence. And what was that like? The first time that you met her, what was that like?
The first time I met Pat, I went to Tennessee camp. Got to go up there. I'm taking my team is AKR, my initials, Texas Summit.
Okay.
And so I named it after her, in her honor. So I'm taking them to the Holly Warlick Lady Vols camp. First place I ever met Coach Summit was at the Pat Summit Lady Vols camp.
Okay, not to cut you off. So for any future athletes and parents of future athletes that are listening in, basketball players specifically. So the first time you met Coach Summit was actually at her camp.
It was at her camp.
At her camp. So hint, hint, we're dropping nuggets for exposure.
Not the first time she ever saw me, but the first time that I met her.
That you met her.
To ride around campus in her Mercedes-Benz and stuff like that.
You went to her camp.
Yep, I went to Knoxville from Grand Prairie to attend the Tennessee camp.
So parents out there, make the investment.
Yeah.
Make the sacrifice. What I'm hearing, she got right in front of her.
Right in front of her, and you get to meet her. And those camps are opportunities for you to be on campus with the coaches. So, like, it's not a recruiting visit, but you're on campus. So they get to do, like they would anybody on campus.
And you're gaining that exposure.
Yeah, and I know rules have changed since then. Not sure what the rules are nowadays, but I know we could go to camp, and it was like a on-campus visit. It was awesome back then.
Man.
And to have that attention from somebody like that.
So when you met her, was there a little bit of intimidation?
I think I was too naive to be intimidated. I was more just really excited about it. Like I had been playing basketball for real since I was 12 and doing all this All-American stuff. And, you're getting all these write-ups and everybody's telling you how good you are and your AAU team is doing good. Basketball's going well. But then you get the validation that one of the top programs in the country want you. And that felt really good. That felt like it was worth it. All the getting yelled at for not playing good by my mom, the little, just all the long days in the summertime when you didn't get to go to Six Flags and Wet n Wild, or you only got to do those things whenever you didn't have a tournament. All those days were worth it whenever you're sitting there and Pat Summitt saying, we're going to recruit you.
So you mean to tell me you sacrificed playing around with friends, you focused on building your package, and as a result of you doing that, great things happened.
Excellent things happened. Mine, life-changing things happened, and it had to be a commitment from my parents whenever I want to quit because I don't get to go to Six Flags with Abby and Jennifer. And Abby and Jennifer are my best friends from kindergarten, third grade. So, sacrificing moments with them, but then they were also playing softball and volleyball. We're athletic people. My best friends, Jennifer, stud in softball. You can go to UTSA right now and see her face there. My best friend, Abby, a stud in volleyball. You can go to New Mexico State, and I'm sure see her face there. And then, if you go to the University of Tennessee and you're walking around, you can look up and see me as one of the ones that went to the WNBA.
I love it.
So go check us out. South Grand Prairie is the only place you can't go and know that we went there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, UT, you go there. Freshman year, you sink 2 free throws to beat UConn. Mm-hmm. You weren't able to beat them the next 3 years. You got a little bit of bragging rights, wouldn't you say, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have lifetime bragging rights. Like, Diana used to always joke, we both got drafted to Phoenix the same year. So we started out, we met each other by playing in Southlake. Her team would come to my team's tournament every year from Southern Cal. And so we met her by playing in Southlake. And we developed our friendship, and our teams would play each other every single year in our tournament in Southlake. So when we both got drafted to Phoenix together, it was like little girls getting drafted. Ooh, we get to be on the same team finally, because she went to UConn, I went to Tennessee. So first thing she told me, because she's such, I'm not gonna, because she's such an a-hole. She says to me, hey, I just want to say thank you for making me rich. Because they beat us in all those Final Fours and stuff. And so that's,
DT.
Yeah.
Why you do us like that,
Why
DT?
you gotta do us like that?
For real?
But, she's funny like that. But it's true. I mean, if she loses those, maybe she's not as rich.
But you know what? That's the Cali in her. We do have a little bit of arrogance in us. We do.
At 12 years old, she was coming down here to the country, spitting on the court, cussing on the court. And I think it's so great because we all wanted to be like her. Even at 12, we're like, oh, man, wish we could cuss. Wish we could spit on the floor.
Wow.
I would beat my kids' tails right now if they cussed or spit.
But we don't beat kids. We'll just make them run suicides because we're coaches.
We beat our kids. I'm joking. No, we don't beat our kids.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll
I
let
love
their
it.
parents.
So you played against DT. You got drafted with her in Phoenix. But getting back to the Final Four March Madness experience and your college experience, after that freshman year, you had to be focused like no other, correct?
Yeah.
Going into your sophomore year.
For sure. I was focused. We do Tennessee camp that I'm talking about. We have different camps in the summer, and we have to work those camps, and that's where I tore my ACL. First demo of the camp, I tore my ACL after my freshman year.
Wow. At
that camp. So, like, all that joy from freshman year it died that day, that I tore my ACL. It was in the summertime. Freak. Nobody touched me and just driving to the basket, hyperextended my left knee.
Wow.
Blew it out.
Non-contact accident.
Non-contact.
Injury.
But one of my best friends to date is Tasha Butts, and she's assistant coach at LSU. And we were roommates 4 years in college, so she was coming to guard me. So, we were competitors.
You were
in
ready
my
to
head,
go.
I was about to tap out on her with my left hand. I was going hard left, and I'll never forget it. I saw her coming. I thought, oh, this is going to be a good time to get her. Because I thought I had a jump on her where I could, like, explode, go tap out on the backboard. This is the way we were taught to play.
Right.
If you can get to that backboard, get to that backboard. That's why I love Coach Hawkins so much at Trinity Christian School, where I coached as his assistant coach this year, and we won a state
Congratulations.
TAPS 5A state championship. Little predominantly African-American private school in Cedar Hill, won TAPS 5A and dominated the whole thing. But that's why I like the way he coaches, and he's my coach and mentor because of the way he coaches. He coaches those girls, if you can tap out, tap out. That's the way I was taught. So I was about to go bang out on my best friend in front of the campers, tore my ACL.
Man, so freshman year, we hit those free throws. Here comes what every athlete fears, that injury, that injury. What was your response, man? Walk us through that.
It was just, I was depressed. I was depressed for it was a lot of things going on at that time in college. But tearing my ACL was like, for me, mentally, it messed me up because I didn't feel like I was as athletic. And that was the thing that set me apart. Now, mind you, hindsight's 2020. I played 10 years WNBA at the highest level of my career and was better my last 2 years of my career was probably the best basketball player I had been as an older player. But as an 18-year-old kid that was on top of the world, top 5 in the country still, collegiately, and was on my way to, what I was groomed for this lifestyle. So it was going to be USA basketball opportunities, WNBA overseas opportunities. That's just where I was going. And maybe we win a Final Four if I'm mentally healthy and back to my dominating self. But it worked on me mentally, and Coach used to always say, are you going to let the mental midget win? And she was like, he's a crafty little sucker. And I know that's the way she put it. She was a believer.
Yeah. But
I know, when you're a coach, you have kids coming from all directions. But I know she put it like that so she could relate to all kids from everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But she was like, are you going to let the devil win? All that negative talk. You're this, you're this. She used to talk me up more than – she was a very positive person or coach with me because that's what I needed. I beat myself up enough. She knew she didn't have to beat me up like that. But so she would just pick me up and tell me, don't listen to that. Don't be a mental midget. Don't listen to the crafty little sucker. But at 18, you think it's the world ending. No, I can't do it,
And, that reminds me of my own personal journey when it comes to basketball. I came out of high school in 98. I expected to get a scholarship, went up against the likes of Jonathan Bender, who went to the league fresh out of high school, and I'm banging with him, moved back to California, go to PCC, Pasadena City College, get an opportunity to play there. But I was told that I had to pay a portion of the tuition, and I didn't have the money going, being a 17 or 18-year-old. I didn't know where the money was going to come from. Wasn't even aware of how the whole financial aid game worked. So one particular day, I'm at practice. This is summer league time. We hit weights. I'm a 17-year-old kid. We hit weights. We go hit the court. We hit weights again. And after that particular practice, coach pulled me aside and he talked to me about the financial side. And literally on the court, I don't know if you remember the movie Sunset Park. Antoine Connor. He's the guy that I was going up against at PCC, so I'm handling and hanging with those guys, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I know I can play ball. But after the coach told me that as a 17-year-old, you expect, oh, what? Mm-hmm. I don't get a full scholarship. What is that? What is a partial? What is that? But at the same time, I went home. That day, and that little mental midget won. He won. That mental midget, my body was hurting. I was sore. I was thinking about, stressing out about the financial side. And you know what? I was just like, man, I got to find out how I can get this money. Mm-hmm. I ended up going into the Navy. I ended up walking away from my dream. In hindsight, 20/20, 50/50, whatever, I know now that was still an opportunity, even though instead of listening to the mental midget, I could have grinded it out, because my dream was to play for the UCLA Bruins. I love Lou Alcindor, Coach John Wooden. He and Pat Summitt, they're at the pinnacle for me when it comes to coaching. And you spoke volume pertaining to the power of a coach. I always want to focus and get my parents and get listeners to understand we need great coaches today. Our kids and our teenagers, adults, we need great coaches to step up and understand that it's not about the wins and losses. It's about the investment. It's about the building up. Because when you face that mental midget, you said something about depression. Depression is real.
Totally real. And it's not as easy as people telling a kid, just get over it. It's not that big of a deal. Because I was also dealing with life. I was 18, first year away from home in college. So think about everything else that was going on on top of tearing your ACL. So the one thing that's the constant is basketball is taken away. Everything's felt like the world was over.
And that idle mind kicked in. And for those that need to understand, as an athlete, when we have something that we're passionate and we make our life, when it's ripped from us, the very fabric, that foundation is shaken. You know, and it speaks volume when you have that support system, and that's why I want to encourage continuously for athletes that have gone through this process. You know, young men and women need you to lend that voice. Whether you played D1, whether you went to the NBA or WNBA overseas, it doesn't matter. You have a story to give back to be able to help. You know, and in that process, you learn that, hey, man, that's a part of the healing. You know, the more you share, the more we grow. You know, as a human being, as a race, as a basketball ambassador. You know, so man, when you didn't believe in yourself, how did you get back? How did you get back to the substance that you knew you belonged on that basketball court?
I think the main thing that happened is your game has to speak for itself. Until you go out there and play the game that you know you can play, it doesn't matter what anybody tells you. And a lot of that has to do with training. And that's one thing that I know with my program, Texas Summit, that we really preach to our parents. Yeah, you can go put your kid in all these programs that charge all this money. But if the kid isn't developing, throw the program away. Leave it alone. Stop messing with these coaches that are just charging you $300 to do nothing with your kid. I don't care if your kid is rec level. You can teach a kid that is rec level talent to be a select elite level talented athlete, but it takes work. And that's the thing that I learned from Coach Summit. She didn't just have us come to Tennessee as All-Americans, top recruits, and then be done with us. She taught us longevity. So even though I wasn't as confident as I was my freshman year, she still said, Ash, no matter injury, no injury, you're going to go play a lot of years professionally only because you're one of the best shot blockers and one of the best defenders. No matter what you do offensively, you are going to, there's always going to be a player that's better than you offensively, is what she would be like. You know, you got to shoot, and you also have to shoot. If you want to average 10 points and you only take two shots a game, how are you mad at yourself for not averaging 10 points? You only took 2 shots. So that was something else that she started to work on with me. Like, I see the world black and white. There's not a lot of gray area. So she started working on me mentally, like, okay, if you want to score 10 points, well, we need you taking about 10 shots a game. And that was very hard for me to do. So I would get to like 6, 7, you know, and then get the 10 points, get the 8 to 10 points. And then it was like, okay, so take 15 and see what happens. And so it wasn't, I would never take 15 unless I was just having an excellent game. But it was just taking out the, instead of thinking about the depression, start thinking about the real psychological part of the game. Think about it. And so I always tell my kids, think. And it's because how am I going to be mad if I'm missing all my jump shots and I didn't go work on my jump shot one time this week? Wow. Like, what are you talking about, really? Why are you mad? And for a lot of parents, I think, how can you be mad if you're paying $300 and something for a program and your kid's not getting better, but they only work out an hour a week? Then don't be mad at the program prices. Be mad that you made that bad business deal and paid them all that money not to get your kids better.
Or they didn't come to practice. You're paying money and your kid's not showing up. And then don't be mad at my program that we only charge $100 a month and running teams off the court, beating them by 100 points, and y'all charge $350. Don't be mad at my club for running your club off the court. Everybody should be sitting around talking about, well, what y'all doing with those kids for $100 a month? We're in the gym training our kids. It's not a price tag on our kids with Texas Summit. We're going to train your kids to get better, because everything we're talking about today, if my game didn't speak for itself, even now as a coach, if my teams don't run your teams off the court, then I'm going to be judged by that, because I'm expected to be elite, which means my kids are expected to be elite. So one thing Pat always taught us, you better get in the gym and work on your game, because all I can do is tell people my experience with you, but when you get to the WNBA, your game going to have to speak for itself. And so what will set you apart? She told me, and she identified that for a lot of our players, but we've brought that to Texas Summit in the DFW, and I'm very proud of my kids, because even my rec level kids, when they get beat, the other team feels like they beat a great team. I love it.
And they did beat a great team, because that might be your only time. You better enjoy it now.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you're infusing the Summit-isms. That's what I'll call it. The Summit-isms into the next generation of kids. But you pointed on something very important that players across the world need to understand. And also, it's a follow-up to something that I learned from Kobe Bryant in understanding the Mamba mentality. He spoke on numbers. The numbers game. Let's just break it down in the numbers game.
Let's do it.
Select programs practice 2 days a week. Some of them practice 2 days a week, maybe for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Right.
So we're looking at 2 days a week, 4 hours. Okay, how many hours are in a week? You know, we're talking about what, 120 in a week? So 4 out of 120, how can we expect to be better? You know, how can you expect your player to get better? How can I as a person expect to be better? That's it. The numbers don't add up.
Right.
So what we're trying to reiterate with our players and continuously across the board, work on your craft, work on your niche, find something. Coach Summit, even in the midst of your depression, Coach Summit, what I took from this, she brought you back to understanding what your strength is, to not focus on that weakness or the injury, but focus on your strength. You play defense like no other. You were an elite shot blocker. You know, in that state that you're in, if I'm depressed, the more I'm reminded of the gift that God gave me, that gets me to knock that mental midget right in the nose and continue to cling on to whose I am. You know, and that speaks volume when you're going through a battle like that. You got to know whose you are and where you are in order for you to overcome that. You know, because as an athlete, we always hear about this. My daughter shared this with me. She said, "Dad, why do you think she got hurt? You know, do you think it was a way that God used that injury to remind her maybe she wasn't humble or something? I don't know, but sometimes doesn't that happen, Dad?" I said, "Well, you know what? The only way I find out is I ask her." You know, so in the midst of before that injury, was there a little big-headedness?
I think for sure there was big-headedness, but I also feel like whenever you're competing at a different level and you're in a different league, you have to have confidence in yourself.
100%.
But I just think it was an eye-opener. A lot of times people say, "What would you do differently in your career?" You can't control getting injured, but my relationship to a higher power would have been something that I would have really, really tackled in college.
Man, I tell you what, you know, that speaks volume. And that's our first hour so far. We're going to continue on in the second hour. We're going to break down the NCAA Final Four in Minnesota, also Tampa, and also we're going to break down the women's bracket right here on your favorite Crazy Coaches radio show. This is The Flow with Coach Ray.
What's going on? It's your boy Matt Harlem in the building, and I need y'all to catch my new show, New Wave ENT, every Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Time. On my show, we're going to be talking about relationships, social media. You know what? I'm giving you too much. Tune in every Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Time on FBRN.US. Matt Harlem.
I like. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like.
Hi, my name is Jamie Boone with the Washington Agency of AIL. Have you ever wondered how well your family would be protected if you were to pass away today? I'm your local agent for DFW and surrounding areas. AIL provides no-cost benefits as well as whole life and supplemental benefits if you qualify. Call 682-888-2879 and let's get you and your family protected today.
Congratulations from Velvet Oasis Events, wedding and event planning. What a great time for us to get acquainted and determine what style, design, and package will work for your upcoming wedding, gala, social, or anniversary event. We specialize in helping people have a better event experience. Velvet Oasis Events customize your event design with your vision in mind. From beginning to end, we're there to assist. So for that wow experience you won't forget, remember Velvet Oasis Events. To get more details, go to velvetoasisevent.com, velvetoasisevent.com, or call 817-500-1579, 817-500-1579.
This year, make your corporate event, holiday party, or birthday magical with the Magic Mirror Photo Experience. Your guests will love it and be talking about it for days. Plus, they'll even get to walk away with their own unique red carpet picture. It's fun, unique, and gives your occasion that special touch that your guests will appreciate. The Magic Mirror. Find us on Facebook to book now. Search Mirror Image Rentals. That's Mirror Image Rental. Let the magic begin.
Hey, this is Angelized.
This is DJ K.
What's good? It's your girl, OG Embo Slice, out of that D-Town. And I go by the name of Wild Style.
So make sure you stay logged on
to Fishbowl Radio Network. We do it the best.
High five! Ground fried chicken flow. Kennedy fried chicken flow. Crown Heights, Eastern Parkway. Yeah. A lot of rappers overrated. Homie, that's an understatement. I grew up on that. Tigger in the basement. You could say I made a millionaire to go Kane and Undertaker. Talking crazy, y'all son of a boy, but you know we ain't related. I was told that I'm kinda strange and I can't debate it. Either way, I'ma kill the game like it's premeditated. Like boop boy, when I'm aiming at the boop boy, put the lighters to the roof boy. When you're riding in your coupe boy, aiming at your whole crew boy. Hey, I remember when police was in the hallway, knocking, talking, we can hear you from long range. I said I turned it down, that was till they went away. Now I'm on my OT, talking all day. Speak now or hold your peace. Before the Lord, let my soul to sleep. And I got some goals I gotta reach. These moves you gotta see.
I'm doing my dance, hey. I'm doing my dance, don't mind me. I'm doing my dance, hey. Look, I'm doing my dance, watch. I'm doing my dance, hustle. I'm doing my dance, work. I'm doing my dance, hey, just doing my dance. Body tag your own betters. I don't smoke in that lettuce. I just pull up that chemicals. Shows over road credits. Sight guy just got started. It's when I learn no losses. Feeling sick, I might call it. Wait, I don't got bosses. Yeah, I take a break, but I don't ever quit. Yeah, sheesh. I keep 100 bars up in the clip. Bah. Yeah, this summer we finna hit London and Swiss. Swish. I run a business, you running your lip. Back and forth between ATL so much, I've been thinking about getting fronts. Nowadays, no loyalty, they stab you in the back just to get in front. It's a race against time to try to put down the things that I'm thinking of. I see people go insane when they find out that 15 is up. Look, I'm doing my dance. You see it? Woo! I look better in person. Believe it? Yeah. Wait, how you got my number? Hey, delete it. I ain't changed that since 13. I think it's about time and I need it. She told me gotta pick up the pace. Hands in the air like I stick up the place. And I cannot falter whenever my face hit the altar. Who you gave the ball to? I don't play the martyr. I just play much harder. Hard and aiming for the Hall of Fame. I lock and aim. I shock or bang. You lames don't want the parts. You all the same. I Charlemagne the talking. And I walk inside my lane. I came. I saw. I conquered. Giants game. The pride that came before the fall. Summer's ours. Andy's coming. Hit the floor. I'm John Travolta. Doing my dance. Hey. I'm doing my dance. Don't mind me. I'm doing my dance. Hey. Look. I'm doing my dance. Watch. I'm doing my dance. Hustle. I'm doing my dance. Work. I'm doing my dance. Hey. Just doing my dance. Doing my dance. Hey. I'm just doing my dance. I'm doing my dance. Look. Me and my I'm just doing my dance. Look at I'm doing my dance. No hands. I'm doing my dance. Look. I'm doing my dance. Craig told me new level. never knew devil in this. It's a battle outside and you better be equipped. So I gotta keep the good book on flip. And I'm running through the rain and I think I might slip like skirt. Picking it up, man, pick up the pace. So put on my high hands high like I stick up the place. Whenever I die, I'ma tell her mama I'm up in a better place. Gotta be putting it down on the record, I'ma set it straight. Hey!
Joe, but I don't play. Fairly broke, that's not a game. Me and Kenny about to change. Saw it, I'm not at the end of my strike. Maintain, that's the way I was raised. Freight cane told me stay in the race. Fake friends told me stay in my place. Champagne while we raising the stakes. I'm from the dirt, they can't bury us. Done with no choice but to step it up. Everything just to get it, yeah. Nothing about me is regular, yeah. You know we live it, man, that for sure. You know we win it, man, on the low. You both on anything, take the score. Same thing as before. I caught a wave though, can't even swim. Walk a fake, sitting pretty. I was there, take the drug, make it numb. Take the feeling like I'm new. Nothing there because we moving through. Hit the field, trying to show and prove. Win the game, that's just what we do. We do. We came to play. We came to play. I'm on the way. We came to stay. I'm on the way. Yeah, this ain't a game. I put my team on, let's get it. They see the team strong, we in it. I feel like King Kong in the building. I used to play a game, now we winning. We came to play. We came to play. I'm on the way. We came to stay. I'm on the way. Yeah, this ain't a game. I put my team on, let's get it. They see the team strong, we in it. I feel like King Kong in the building. I used to play a game, now we winning.
It's a hard word, look at my hands. Hold up, I pull up with the team with the minivan, yeah. Ice cream man when I slap you. But I ain't so cold, nothing when I find you, yeah. I'm Marshawn Lynch in my interview. I'm about to run through about 10 of you, yeah. This way that way and finish you. Lowercase C, how I get to you. They try to shut me down like I'm hog tied. Playing for the wrong team, cause you're offside. If you call it what you want, what you call mine. I'm in the cannon, I ain't tripping, put your car by. If you gotta get the one they in the vein for. A mediator had to sit up in between balls. I'm shooting for the win like a free throw. Blood was to catch a charge called a Rico. Them haters ain't out of no range, yeah. LeBron when I smash in the paint, yeah. The cooking, the curry got flame. Ooh, tell them I'm harder than James. Champagne bottles popping, we were not forgotten. God would not forsake us today, yeah. About to go lift up my glass. Ooh, see that we raising the stakes.
We came to play, yeah. We came to play, yeah. I'm on the way, we came to stay, hey. I'm on the way, yeah. This ain't a game. I put my team on, let's get it. They see the team strong, we in it. I feel like King Kong in the building. I used to play a game, now we win it. We came to play, yeah. We came to play, yeah. I'm on the way, we came to stay.
We're going hot in a minute. Yeah, basically.
I used to play a game, now we winning. I caught a way, yeah. I'm on the way, yeah. I ain't changed nothing, I'm gonna stay, yeah. I'm on the way, yeah. Call the game, yeah. Dance off the leash, yeah, we off the chain. Moving with something that's everything.
I love it.
They can't be my squad, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. They can't hit this on the solid. Yeah, yeah. They can't get this on the solid.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going hot. Back here on the flow, my man. That right there is Tadashi with We Came to Play featuring Cannon, and you are listening to the Fishbowl Radio Network. I'm your favorite crazy coach, Coach Ray, and I'm here. The first hour we were blessed with legendary basketball player out of Tennessee, University of Tennessee Volunteers, legendary basketball player, fresh out of South Grand Prairie, Miss Ashley Robinson. And in that first hour, we discussed her career, her high school upbringing, foundation. We discussed the importance of having that village mentality around you in order for you to be able to achieve the dream that you have in front of you. Now, one of the things that Coach Robinson is doing, she's giving back to the community by coaching. Coach, do me a favor. Oh, first and foremost, my bad, Coach, my bad. Congratulations, congratulations on winning the Coach of the Year for the WNBA Dallas Wings.
Thank you. That's a huge accomplishment. I consider that like a community award, and to know that one of my players nominated me, it makes it even sweeter.
And that speaks volume to the coach that you are if a player nominates you, you know. And we were discussing your mentors and the coaches that have impacted your life. Talk to me about Coach Hawkins at Trinity.
Coach Hawkins at Trinity Christian. I love Coach Hawkins. He's awesome. I met Coach Hawkins by being in the gym. He would watch me training with my kids in my program, and he asked me if I would come speak at their banquet last year. And I always tell my kids, you know, opportunities for me, I just need gym space. So yeah, Coach, I'll come speak at your banquet. Can I use your gym from time to time? Sure. That turned into me being the junior high school head coach, which turned into me being one of his varsity assistants, which turned into him giving me an opportunity to help him with the recruiting, because he gave me the title recruiting coordinator, but he really does all the recruiting and lets me get the credit. And it also led to me getting my first state championship ever in my life, but I got to get it as an assistant coach with Trinity Christian. So we were TAPS 5A state champions. So not only did he become my coach and mentor, because I just like his style. I like I was saying, I like people that encourage players to be ruthless dogs out there and develop them. And he develops his program, he develops them mentally, and he develops coaches too. So he's given me a platform to not only give back to kids in my way, but he gave me a job to put on my resume. So me and his daughter just have a joke, how's that resume looking now?
I love it.
And that resume is looking good with that state championship. So I appreciate him putting me in positions to win. And he's also the one who asked me if I wanted to help out with Texas U, the 17U Under Armour team this summer. And I'm really excited to be doing that. So he took a real role in being a coach and mentor to me, and he's put me in positions to be successful and giving me tools that if I have to do it by myself, I'm a better business owner with Texas Summit and all that kind of stuff because of just the coaching experience that I got through him. And I say that I get because I'm
continuously.
I'm going to still be there next year.
And we're always, well, that's good news to hear. We always want to continue moving forward in our professional development. And it speaks volume to the fact that Coach understands in order to leave a greater legacy, you got to give back. And he's pouring into you, which continues in light of the summitisms. You know, we shared earlier in the first hour, speaking on the legendary, rest in peace, Coach, legendary Coach Pat Summit. It speaks volume to being able to give back because you continue your legacy of teaching the way you were taught the right way, and you're able to impact generation after generation. So you guys are partaking in the Under Armour circuit?
With Texas U, the team will be playing on the Under Armour circuit. This is the first year that Under Armour's offered their UAA circuit to the girls. So we're going to be participating in the GUAA and the Rise circuit. My own personal club, Texas Summit, our boys are going to be participating in the Under Armour Future circuit. And you had to be selected for that, and so it's really cool to see our boys about to get to do something, you know, as young kids. That is just a great opportunity. So I'm excited to be working with Under Armour, with Texas U, and our Vols program and Gladiator program with Texas Summit will be representing our program on the Under Armour circuit for the boys, and I'm sure my young girls program, which is grassroots, will be representing next year. But I'm really excited about this weekend with Texas U because it's our first time to take the court. So I'm going to get to see our 17U, 16U, and our Rise teams play this weekend. And I want to be a part of all of their journeys, but I'll be assistant coaching with Texas U, 17U, GUAA.
I love it. Yeah. And you guys are playing local?
Yes, we'll be playing in DeSoto for the Texas U, and I got to look at what times we play. And my Texas Summit teams, if people want to come see my Lady Vols teams play, my Lady Vol Elite, we play this weekend at Sportsplex. All my teams are playing in the Mavs tournament this weekend. So our Lady Vols Elite, which is our Lady Vols Elite 2025, 2026, and then our Vols Elite 2027, and our Texas Summit Gladiator team will be playing this weekend at Sportsplex. If you want to watch the future of the NBA, you got to come see our Gladiator team. I don't care what people have to say about them in the community. These are the hardest working little boys I've ever met, and they're little boys that people treat like men because that's how good they are. But if you want to come see the future of the NBA and you want to be able to say, I remember when, come see Texas Summit Gladiators.
So you're calling them the future right out.
I'm calling every single one of them the future. We have a young 6th grader. He's young, but he's so tall. He can dunk in the 6th grade.
You saw my eyes, right? What? 6th grade?
And that's the thing. If you train these kids I was dunking at 15 off the vert as a woman. So what do you think that the people that I'm surrounding myself with are going to teach a 12-year-old big old boy? We're going to teach him to go out there, dunk on people. And I think the most beautiful thing about our Gladiator team, the future of the NBA, they are age appropriate.
Hold up, coach.
What is it called?
Hold up, coach.
In your children. We got age appropriate kids.
Hold up, coach. Don't be.
I'm popping it off right now. Shots fired.
Coach, you're firing shots now.
Shots fired.
But you know what?
Age appropriate kids. We have our kids' birth certificates on deck all weekend. Come check us out. Gladiators play at 8 today. Vols Elite plays at 6.
I love it.
And the Lady Vols play at 9. And we coming in there firing at Sportsplex today. Straight up, age appropriate.
So coach is speaking on as a coach myself in the AAU circuit. Coach is speaking on something that us parents, we harp on all the time. You go to a game, it's 6th grade kids, but you see a grown man with a goatee talking like Coach Ray, pass me the ball. And you expect that kid to, let me see your ID, son. Let me see your ID. So being reclassified, I'm against it. I am. I'm against it because it teaches how to go through the loopholes when it comes to your child being considered the elite, However, one devil's advocate statement, your kid got to work, okay? Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're requalified or not. If the kid doesn't put in work, they're not going to be good.
I agree, Coach. If your kid doesn't put in the work, they're not going to be good. But where we lie to our kids is whenever we reclassify them and they're 14 years old playing against 6th and 7th graders, you lie to him about you don't give him a chance to be great. You give him a chance to be like, okay, if we cheat a little bit, you'll be better. So,
wow.
Shots fired. I'm sorry. All of our kids are age appropriate.
I love it.
Boys, we're coming in. They're super tall, super talented.
But you know what? We got to keep it real, right, Coach?
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Educating the community.
In this hour, we're still here with the Ashley Robinson, Coach of the Year for the WNBA Dallas Wings organization. She was nominated by one of her players in her program. She was nominated by one of her players in her program pertaining to being selected as the Coach of the Year. Continuing on in this hour, we're going to break down our NCAA March Madness women's bracket. Also, we're going to touch base. If we're lucky to, I got a special correspondent in Minnesota right now. The men's Final Four is taking place up in Minnesota this year. So I'm lucky to have a special correspondent, Coach Aaron Taylor. He's up in Minnesota, so he'll be possibly joining the show later on. So AT, if you're listening in, I'm waiting for that call so we can find out what's going on in Minnesota, how the environment is changing up there. It's March Madness in America. It's March Madness in America for basketball players. This is the greatest time of the year. We get to participate, as in Coach Robinson, she got to participate in the March Madness. Coach Ray didn't, however, I was one of your biggest supporters, okay, because of Coach Pat Summitt. I didn't know who you was, but at the same time, to be able to see you and connect with you, it's all God. But this hour. We're going to continue having fun, having a blast. This is The Flow with Coach Ray, your favorite crazy coach. To everyone listening here locally and around the world, we thank you for supporting the Fishbowl Radio Network. We have amazing shows in our program, so you might want to tune in from time to time to get blessed with some of the nuggets here. If you find yourself wanting to participate in contribution or helping out The Flow, continue to stay on air. If you go to Fishbowl Radio Network, click on The Flow, you'll see my beautiful radio face. Thank God he gave me a face for radio. You'll see my beautiful radio face, and with the little contribution button down to the left, okay? This show is supported by listeners like you. We're here as a platform for young men and women to be poured into throughout our community, whether it's through business, whether it's through sports. That's what we're here. We're here to break down walls, and I'm looking for the people that are going to help me join in this mission to give back to our kids and our athletes and just our communities. So if you desire to be on The Flow, you can email me at theflowwithcoachray, all one word, theflowwithcoachray @gmail.com. Also, for anyone watching right now on Facebook Live, feel free to call in. The lines are open at 214-431-5062. Coach, you ready? You ready for anybody to call in?
I don't know. We might have some people call in. I
Okay.
know people are listening, and they let us know if they can hear us or not.
Okay.
So they're definitely listening.
Awesome. Well, let's continue on. Let's break down that bracket, Coach.
Let's break it down. Let me go to my bracket.
Bracketology. We talked about my favorite Tennessee. Actually, my not UT. I'm losing it right now. My TCU Lady Horned Frogs. They were ousted. They didn't get selected for the big dance. However, they're competing in the NIT tournament. Last night they went up against Prairie View A&M, wiped them out. Okay, tomorrow they play against UTA down at the Schomeyer Center at 2 p.m. So all of our local people here, get out there and go support. Sorry about that. My headphones, these Beat headphones just died out on me. But all of my local listeners and sports fanatics, get out there and support Coach Peepley and the Lady Horned Frogs, because it's going to be a great show. Okay, so let's get into this bracket. Okay. We talked about your Volunteers going up against my Bruins.
Yes. Well, I don't know if can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm going to go with Tennessee for sure.
You're picking Tennessee over them?
Yes, I'll pick Tennessee every single game.
So we picking UT in the championship, right?
If I'm going off of if I'm going off of how I roll, I will only pick Tennessee to win. I will never pick anybody else. If I'm going off of, I have to pick somebody other than Tennessee that probably has a better chance of winning the championship this year. I look at the bracket, I gaze over it, I see there's an SEC team that has a #1 seed, and so Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. We're gonna go with Mississippi State. What bracket are they in? Are they in Albany? No, we're looking. Let's see. Notre Dame, Chicago. They're in Mississippi State. Where is my bracket? There it is.
Down there with them Oregon girls.
Yeah, they're in Portland.
I like the way the Oregon girls play. I always get clips of their guards.
Hey, they're running. They're
like
going.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Mississippi State, the #1 seed. They're over Southern. They're going to blow Southern out. We know that.
They better.
Let's look at South Dakota and Clemson, number 8 versus 9, and we're in the Portland bracket. Clemson versus South Dakota. Who you got in that?
This is when I get bougie about my picks. I'm like, I don't know. I be expecting them #1 seeds to just beat all them folks.
To get it done.
Yeah, like that's the way I look at these brackets. Like I think, dang, 8, 9, I don't know who's gonna win, because they should be getting destroyed
right.
the next game. But if we're gonna break it down, I don't know. Who coaches at Clemson? Now I need to go look at the coaching staff and see who I'm going to go for.
Well, we're going to look. By default, coach just said Clemson.
Okay, Clemson.
Okay.
Clemson, because one of my players, her family likes Clemson.
And sometimes that goes into picking your bracket. You know, whatever connection you can have to a team, that goes into picking that team. Moving on, Arizona State, Central Florida.
Arizona State and Central Florida. See, I hate picking it because it's like you're just picking off of. I haven't seen their teams play enough to be able to make a good decision. Arizona State, Central Florida. Who's at Central Florida? See, it's like now I got to Google Central Florida's coaches because I know if I Google their coaches, I'm going to know somebody on Central Florida, but I know we don't have time for me to Google every team's
let's just run down it. I think I'm gonna roll. Central Florida might have some athletes. They might have some athletes, but looking at the ranking of Arizona State, Pac-12 was very competitive. They go against Oregon. They go against the powerhouses of Stanford. So I think Arizona State is going to get that.
Yeah, let's go with Arizona State.
So San Diego State over Quinn. I think San Diego State will take that Quinn game. Moving below that, Syracuse versus Fordham.
Let's go with Syracuse.
Okay. Looking at Texas versus.
I'm going to go with Texas. My sister is a Longhorn alumni. My mom sent both her kids to UT.
Look at that.
My sister went to University of Texas, played 4 years, and I went to University of Tennessee. And the head coach at Texas recruited me to go to Texas, and I chose Tennessee. So I'm always rooting for Texas to do well. And one of my really good friends, Tiffany Jackson, is assistant coach at Texas.
Bang,
so
bang.
Let's go Texas.
Go Longhorns.
Oh, that means I have to go against them against Mississippi State.
Hey.
I got to stick with the SEC.
SEC up in here. So Oregon against Portland State.
Man, let's go Oregon. Oregon girls go so hard, and that green is so nice.
So Oregon is moving on to face Texas.
Texas better be ready for them Oregon girls.
They fly.
Yeah.
Their men's team is putting on the press, too.
Man,
they
Oregon
go, too.
girls.
Moving over to Chi-Town. Chi-Town. Let's look at the Chicago bracket. You got the team that we shall not name, DT's team. They're ranked number 2 at the bottom.
Oh, what? Number 2?
Yeah. They got the second rank.
You might as well go on and put them in the Final Four.
I'll put them in there.
Yeah.
No. I can't put them in the Final Four. Because if I put DT's team, Diana, if you're listening, it's all love. But if I put DT's team in the Final Four, they beat you.
I'm a Lady Vol till I die. I hear you. I can never go with UConn over Tennessee. Let's go Vols!
Let's go Vols. Y'all better get it together. Oh, wait, Coach. I'm in a contradiction, Coach. I love you, but
UCLA.
That means you guys got to go through UCLA, Coach.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Realistically speaking, I don't really know many of these teams, but it's hard to go against old Gino, man.
It is.
You know these girls about to be ready.
Yeah.
And they're number 2. That takes a little pressure off those UConn girls. Ranked number 2, that's like tragedy in their program to be ranked number 2 going into the NCAA. So I don't know. I haven't really watched them play a lot this year. I haven't watched a lot of teams play this year, but I'm going to go with my Vols because I'm going to go with my Vols. But like I said, UConn is, them girls, yeah, they don't play.
UConn goes up against, who is it? Tau.
Yeah.
I have no idea who Tau is.
Towson. Yeah,
They're going to beat them by 100.
They'll beat them by 100.
And then we got Rutgers versus Buffalo. Rutgers, they're normally a coach, a well-coached team. Mm-hmm. We got Maryland versus Radford.
Maryland's always coached well. Go Maryland.
We got my Lady Bruins versus your Volunteers. We'll leave that alone.
Beat them California girls.
Hey,
come on.
Bruin Nation. Okay, moving on up. We got Oregon State versus Boise State, Pac-12.
I'll go with the top. I'll go with Oregon State.
Oregon State, okay. Gonzaga versus Arkansas Little Rock.
One of my dads is sending me his picks. He's not agreeing with us. South Dakota, he said, and Towson. Over UConn.
Over UConn?
Get out of here, Mark. Get out of here,
Come
Mark.
on, Mark. I love it.
Mark is a Baylor alum that was there whenever we beat Baylor to go to the Final Four. Isn't it a small world? And now his daughter is playing for our team, and he was at the game. We beat Baylor to go to the Final Four.
When you guys did what?
Beat Baylor to go to the Final Four. And it was controversial free throws that I did not have to shoot. It was Tasha Butts that made them that game.
Well, here's the thing. We will give Baylor their love because my niece Bailey Styles, she got accepted there. She's going to Baylor next year. Congratulations, Bailey. I love you, girl. Way to keep up the great work.
Coach, one of the girls that I'll be coaching this summer with Texas U is going to TCU. She's signed to go to TCU. Yeah, just so you know.
Small world.
Yeah.
Look at that. And that's why I tell players, coaches know coaches.
Yeah.
So continuing on in our March Madness bracket, we got Gonzaga, Arkansas, Little Rock.
Yeah, let's go Gonzaga.
Okay. When Samantha was picking it, I told her, I said, hey, you got Arkansas, Little Rock. They might have some athletes. Because I always look at the demographic, the region that they're in, too. You know, with Arkansas, we never know, but they're ranked number 12.
Listen,
that might be a 12 over a 5.
If they take on the personality of Senator Flowers, that senator that went off on everybody, then they might get this. They might go all the way to the Final Four if they take on the personality of Senator Flowers. She was not playing any games about gun control.
Man, that's not a laughing matter. That's a serious matter, but, you know.
Yeah, she went off.
Moving on, Louisville versus Robert Morris, 16 over a 1.
Louisville better win.
Louisville better.
Yeah.
Moving up, Stanford, UC Davis.
Stanford has a kid that's coming down dunking on everybody at like 15, 16 years old. So I'm going to go with Stanford.
BYU versus Auburn.
Let's go SEC. Come on, Auburn.
That's Bella. Bella picked Auburn too.
Let's go, Auburn.
ISU versus New Mexico State. Iowa State.
Yeah. Is Iowa State, is that the one with the big girl that's excellent, or is that Iowa? I don't know. Iowa State, one of the Iowa schools, has the future of centers.
Future of centers.
Yeah, she's awesome.
DePaul versus Montana State.
We're going to go with DePaul. They always have a good team.
TAMU, Texas A&M versus Wright State.
Let's go A&M.
A&M, look.
Let's go A&M.
They have a point guard. Look, Kennedy, she's going to kill it.
And you know where she's from.
Hey,
the DFW.
The DFW Metroplex. It's talent here, America. It's talent here, often overlooked.
I've heard her name so much to where, like, no matter what, I will make sure she knows my first and last name so I can be a resource for her.
That young lady has handles like Kyrie.
She's ridiculous, yeah. And they have another girl, Kayla Wells, that goes there, SGP alum, that had 30 against Tennessee.
Look at that. Look at that. South Grand Prairie representing. Marquette versus Rice.
Man, Rice, I want to go for you down in Houston.
That's who I'm picking.
Let's go, Rice.
One of my girls, Kendall, she plays for Rice. And, like, literally, she's one of the hardest workers that I've ever witnessed going in the gym. So, Kendall, let's go down there and get that dub, okay? Central Michigan versus Michigan State. Who you picking in that?
In-state rivalry. We'll go with let's go with Michigan State.
There you go, Coach Reese. I got to get you on the show. Max, Michigan State alumni, WNBA player. We rolling with you, girl. We rolling with you.
Go.
All right. Notre Dame versus Boston College.
Notre Dame? Why does mine say Bethune-Cookman?
Oh, Bethune-Cookman. Okay, BCU.
Destroy.
Yeah,
Notre Dame.
Thank you for all I see is BCU.
Yeah, those Notre Dame girls, they're great representation in women's basketball. Like, I'm watching a lot of things that they're doing in the community. Devereaux Peters, obviously Skylar Diggins is like, I mean, I don't know if you've seen her pictures or her pregnancy photos, but if that's not a woman, it's just, I just love everything she represents for women's basketball. And her beauty just makes me more excited because we have to fight. Are we great basketball players? Are we beautiful? No matter what anybody says, she's both to me. And I love it. And watching her get to be so delicate and pregnant has been awesome. And a lot of her teammates are doing great things in the community for women's basketball. So go Notre Dame.
Go Notre Dame. Look at that. Skylar, we see you, girl.
Yeah.
Thank you for representing the power of a woman. Yeah. And it is March, and it is International Women's Month. You know, so, hey, that's what we represent here on the floor. We give you guys your props. Hey, keep being a leader.
She would be a good one for you to get for Final Four, but she's probably having a baby somewhere. Yeah. But she went to a bunch of Final Fours.
Oh, I know it. Oh, my goodness. And that left hand, sweet and wicked. So we got Notre Dame over Bethune-Cookman blowout. Notre Dame over MSU, Michigan State. Next round?
Yeah. Notre Dame's gonna go.
Notre Dame. So let's skip on over. Mm-hmm. Let's skip on over. Who's your picks for the Elite Eight?
Elite Eight. Baylor's gonna be there for sure. I think Iowa is gonna be there, and that's gonna be a big match. That's gonna be a big matchup. I think Iowa's the school that has the girl that is excellent post player. So I think Baylor will be there. Iowa will be there. Let's see, Mississippi State, Oregon, and/or Texas, Louisville, and UConn, Notre Dame, and Auburn's coached really well. I don't know why I keep going back to Auburn, but
you know what?
Stanford is coached really well also. So it's just like I feel like Auburn could like surprise these people in the SEC and go out there and do something. They have an excellent coach. So I don't know. Maybe
that's Bella's dark horse is Auburn.
Yeah, I'll say Notre Dame and Stanford to fill out that Elite Eight. Okay. But Auburn, I feel like Auburn might shock some folks.
So Auburn might be a wild card out there, America. If you haven't picked your bracket, well, it's too late now. We got games starting up shortly. Final Four.
Mark wanted to clarify he did not pick Townsend over. He was just trying to finish the name for us.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark's smart. He ain't picking that over UConn.
Mark, I appreciate you. You heard me say Tau. Who is Tau?
But he's going for Baylor.
Baylor, okay. Yeah. Sweet. So, Final Four.
Final Four. Final Four is going to be, I'm going to go with Baylor for Mark.
Okay.
They better be able to beat that big girl from Iowa.
From Iowa.
Let's go Mississippi State. Let's go Notre Dame.
ND.
And I'm just not going to pick UConn just because I'll never pick UConn. Go Tennessee.
Bang, bang. Bang, bang. So Final Four for Ashley Robinson for those that are tuning in right now to The Flow with Coach Ray. Ashley's been able to join us for our March Madness special, and we've just been able to fellowship and unpack bags here on the show, find out about her career, find out about her upbringing in South Grand Prairie, local athlete, local kid here out of Texas, that went on to pursue big things on the national level and even international level. So she's been in the second hour. We're going through our March Madness women's bracket, and we're moving on to Final Four. So we got UConn, Notre Dame, Mississippi State, and Baylor.
No, you have UConn. I have Tennessee.
You got Tennessee. I got UCLA winning the whole thing. I did.
Okay,
I did.
So we both emotional with our picks. And until my Lady Vols get there, it'll be an emotional pick for me.
There you go. So, I roll with the emotions sometimes from time to time. So Final Four, which takes place in Tampa this year, that place is going to be all off the meat rack. It's going to be crazy down in Tampa.
I'm actually going as an NCAA ambassador. We get these emails.
You get those perks.
We get these emails that say, hey. And so I'm going as an NCAA ambassador, so I'll be there for the Final Four. I'm really excited. I've never been as an NCAA ambassador, so
gotcha.
I'm about to go work.
And look at that, basketball ambassador. How about that? I'm notorious for FaceTiming. Okay, I'm like, what did they create it for? Mm-hmm. It's the Jetson era. So you might get a FaceTime from Coach Ray from the Flow. So, you never know. We might have some backstage access to the Final Four. Who knows?
Probably.
Coaches know coaches.
Amen.
For all my players out there. So, Final Four. That's going to be nuts, Ash. Mm-hmm. Man, do you remember your first Final Four?
They all run together. Like, I know I went to Final Four in Atlanta, San Antonio, and New Orleans. But I honestly can't remember the order.
Wow.
I can't remember which.
Because you went so many times.
So many times. I want to say Atlanta was my, I don't know. I can't remember. I want to say Atlanta was my last year, but I could be wrong because I won a WNBA championship in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So it might be.
Congratulations on that, too.
It was popping winning a championship in Atlanta, too. It was great. But I get confused, when I was in these cities, because each one of those cities, except for New Orleans, is a WNBA city. So games and atmosphere, it all starts to just blend together after all these years.
Man, I tell you what, don't be dating yourself, okay? Don't be telling everybody, America, we don't grow. Right. We age well, like fine wine. We don't get old. Yeah. We become well seasoned.
That's exactly seasoned.
I love it. But the atmosphere was crazy, right?
The atmosphere was ridiculous at the Final Fours. The cool thing about it is the Final Fours that I went to, we played in where football games go on. So like domes, and they make the big courts, and you have your fans there, you have other team fans there, and we used to have celebrities at our games. Like the people I met through Pat Summitt were like, let's not count like Tennessee greats like Peyton Manning and all them. Like those are people that we know. But got to go to John Wooden's house. John Wooden's house. We got to go chill in his crib because we know Pat.
Oh my goodness.
John C. Maxwell used to come talk to
motivational
us.
Speaker.
Yeah, so
he's amazing.
Every time I get his books, or I would get his books, I'm thinking, dang, Coach is big. Mary Kay people, as we had Mary Kay millionaires around us all the time, and that's one of my biggest regrets from college. One of our managers, Pat knew everybody. One of our managers, Allison Ford, who is still a dear friend of mine, we go back same year in college, so we're same class. Her mom, Karen Ford, big, huge Mary Kay lady, and she used to always be like, y'all need to do this Mary Kay with me. And we're like, I'm not selling makeup. Then Coach started working with Mary Kay, the Mary Kay Foundation, all this different kind of stuff. Anyways, as an adult, when you think about how much money Miss Ford was making doing Mary Kay, we would have been legacies.
I love it. I love it.
I should have sold Mary Kay.
It's all about connections. Mm-hmm. So, man, I had to frown up when you just rub that in my face that you visited the Wizards' house. Yeah. Coach Wooden, man, one of the most. He was so special, so special. Unfortunately he passed away on my birthday.
Did he?
Yeah, we'll be connected forever, Coach.
Yeah.
I love you. Yeah. Coach Summitt and Coach Wooden watching down over us.
Guardian angels.
Hey.
For sure.
I love it.
We get to meet a lot of people through basketball that we take for granted. Like when the year we won the championship in Seattle, my WNBA coach is now, I say I own him, I possess him, but I love him. My WNBA coach, Brian Agler, is now the head coach for Dallas Wings. I give them about 3 years. They'll win a championship. He's that awesome.
Coach B, we believe in you.
Oh, we believe in you, Coach B. We're there for you. I'm going to be at every game now, so I'll be hitting him up for tickets.
Oh, my goodness. I love it.
But we get to meet a lot of cool people through basketball. And in Seattle, I don't know if anybody remembers the Sonics in the 90s, the Sean Kidd era, Gary Payton.
GP,
but
yeah.
The atmosphere in Seattle for basketball and for all sports is ridiculously incredible. We got to have Bill Russell come talk to us the year that we won our championship because he lives up there. And the little nuggets that people like him give you are incredible. And I'm grateful for basketball for those moments, getting to meet basketball greats, and not counting all the WNBA players that I know now that I consider friends that are Hall of Famers, but we got a phone call.
Uh-oh. You know what? While you were talking about Hall of Fame and our special correspondent from Minnesota, awesome. Our Final Four correspondent actually finally called in. Coach Ron, what's going on, Coach?
What's up, Coach Ray? Or if that's what they call you these days.
Oh my goodness, we're on air with the legend herself, Miss Ashley Robinson of Tennessee Volunteer fame. We want to know, man, what's going on up in Minnesota? We know the Final Four is up there. How's the environment right now?
The environment is melting, but it's only going to get hot. It's only going to get hotter as we approach the Final Four. We got the Fan Fest that's going to kick off at the Convention Center. They have a lot of interactive games for the kids and the family, a very family-friendly environment. We're expecting to have a lot of visitors here to the Twin Cities to experience some of our special brew pubs, our eateries, our local eateries. It's going to be an awesome time. We had a great time. We just finished up the Super Bowl not too long ago. not this past year, but the year before.
Right.
But yeah, we had a lot of people there. It was a lot of Nicollet Mall was off the chain. They had a lot of family-friendly environment. I miss my future ex-wife, Sheila E. She was performing. She was performing, and it was so busy on Nicollet Mall we couldn't even get to it. So.
Oh my goodness.
I'm expecting a lot of things going on. You hear that in the background?
Yeah, I hear it in the background. They're not coming for you, are they, Coach?
You hear that?
Yes, I hear that.
That is the ambulance taking the Louisville Cardinals back to Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, my word. Oh, my word. They
with
did.
That big old L.
They did take that L last night. Talk to me about that game, man.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Man down. They had a great team win. If you see the box scores, you have 5 Gophers just light it up. Is winner go home? It was a bittersweet win for Coach Pitino because the whole thing with the Louisville and Coach Rick Pitino, how that all went down.
Oh yeah.
So
and we're still hearing about it.
Oh yeah. So we got a lot of. It was a great team win. The whole city is buzzing right now for the Gophers. So it was a great team win, and now we gotta see if we can pull it off against Michigan State and Tom Izzo.
Well, Tom is not gonna play. He's not gonna play, bro.
Oh yeah, we saw that yesterday. He wasn't playing with nobody, yelling and wagging fingers. It's win or go home time for him. So expectations are very, very high.
Well, you know what, man, basically what you're telling us, there is life in Minnesota. I always joke about Minnesota being one of the coldest places in America. But I actually, when I was able to be up there when the Lynx won the championship, Coach Aaron was actually getting married, you know. So I was able to go up there for his wedding, and that's around the same time that the Lynx were winning their championship. Simone
Augustus.
Yeah, Augustus.
Lindsey Whalen, who's the head coach of the Minnesota Gophers women's basketball now.
Oh yeah. So,
Yep. And now we got Maya Moore. The Lynx have been holding it down.
Sylvia Fowles.
They have held the whole sports realm down here in the Twin Cities. So I'm very proud of those ladies. They are doing it in the community. They're doing it on the court. But most of all, they're taking it back to their community that looks like them. So that's a great thing to give back to the community where you came from, and to also encourage young women and young girls who are playing that basketball game that this is a life that you can make and live. And so don't settle for less, but to go farther than what they have in their basketball world as well.
Well, Coach Aaron, thank you for calling in and giving us that update. We're gonna keep you on board.
Hold on. You can't kick me off, dude.
Look.
I'm winning our pool. You don't want to talk about that. You just want to kick me off. Thanks a lot. Nah, dude. Let's talk about you and your picks that ain't happening right now. You need to. You should have had what's the dog? Winky the dog. Winky the dog help you fill out your picks.
Look here.
Come on, man.
Look here. After the first round, you were 93%. I was 97%. So that speaks volume for who has the basketball knowledge and who doesn't. Coach Aaron. You want to fire like that?
Here we go.
We won't get on that, okay? Look, there is life in Minnesota. We got to hang up. We got to hang up right now. Get by, Cletus.
I'm gonna call the ambulance for you too and your bracket.
Thanks, Coach.
Take it easy, and don't forget, the Twin Cities gonna pop off. It's gonna be more than just the Final Four. You got the Prince experience here. You got the lakes. We got one of the coolest waterfalls that you can possibly ever see in your life, right here in the Twin Cities. less than 3 miles away from the U.S. Bank Stadium.
And y'all
So
got
it's a lot of attraction.
And
What's
y'all
that?
have a good Benihana's down there where we always go eat at the Benihana's in Minnesota because they have the yummy yum sauce, the white sauce. So, yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It goes down at Benihana.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
I love it. I love it. Well, Coach Aaron, thank you for being a great representative of Minnesota. We might need to get you on their tourist catalog, because there's a reason why God put you there, and not me. We love you.
I sold a place like they getting ready to cut me off a little piece of the pie.
Right.
We love it.
But yeah, y'all enjoy. I got to warm up. It's a little chilly out here, so I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, brother.
All right, peace.
Man, I tell you what, it's always good to have Coach Aaron join the show. Yes. He is a nut. When I tell you, I have no idea why he's in Minnesota, but he's there. He's married, got a beautiful family, raising them up, but he's impacting kids' lives every single day through coaching and through business. So, as always, that's what we're here for on The Flow with Coach Ray. We're giving back. Man, if you're in Minnesota, stop by Benny Han for Coach Ash. Get some white sauce, And
tell them it's your birthday because the lady that sings the birthday song is infamous.
So, it's your birthday.
It's your birthday at Benihana's.
I love it. I love it, man. We're having a blast here on The Flow with Coach Ray. Fishbowl Radio Network, man, I tell you, it's a great opportunity to be involved in the community this week. One of the things that you can give back, I know tomorrow down at the Acme Brickyard, the neuroblastoma run is taking place. And for those that are going down there, make sure you take an opportunity to join the Neuroblastoma Association. One of my dear friends, I talked to Coach or Mr. Micah Aaron's dad, Maurice. Micah passed away in July. It will be 3 years from neuroblastoma. And one of the things, your impact is huge. One of the things that he spoke on was the fact that the TCU program is joining alongside them this year, and they're giving out T-shirts for the first 100 that sign up. He'll also be out there with his gold ribbon confections, along with Riata, Bonnell's, Austin's Underdogs, and more. We also have a team that you can join, Superhero Micah, that people can walk, run, or donate to if they like. I tell you what, the Neuroblastoma is an organization that I hold dear to my heart. When Micah was still alive, I got an opportunity to go out there, support him. I tell you what, the baseball team still remembers our pink tutus. So, Coach, there might be a picture of Coach Ray in a pink tutu running for a good cause, okay? Look, I'll do it for Micah. Anything for the kids. Right. Anything for the kids. So if you're able to, please get out there tomorrow and just bless those babies. I guarantee you, if you get out there, those babies will bless you. You'll learn a lot from them. So the Neuroblastoma run and walk, the 5K run and walk is taking place tomorrow. Also, you can go, for more information on that, you can go to promise.cookchildrens.org. That's promise.cookchildrens.org and find out about the blast, which is the walk benefiting neuroblastoma here in the DFW Metroplex. We always like to give back. Coach Ash, this is the what-if moment that I talked about in the first hour. Knowing what you know now, let's go with your what is your what if for the up-and-coming athlete? What can you give back from your career for that up-and-coming athlete that hasn't faced that what-if moment now?
What if this happens? What if that happens? You can't really worry about what if. You have to live your life for the moment, for the day. You have to make sure you take advantage of every opportunity. And I think if you take advantage of every opportunity and live your life for the moment and make the world better, give love. 1 Timothy 1:5, now and the purpose of the commandment is to love from a good heart, clear conscience, good faith. Pure heart, good conscience, clear faith. If you can do that, I mean, you're just going to make the world so much better.
Hey.
And I hope that all these kids live their life to where they live their life more like remember when.
Yeah.
You know, have more remember when moments than, or what if I would have worked harder? What if I would have done this? What if I would have done that? Remember when we worked hard and we won state? Remember when we went on that AAU tournament and met this person? Remember when? I love remember when moments. And I have a lot of remember when moments throughout my career.
And that speaks volume, Coach, the remember when moment. And all that comes from just a switch of the mentality. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what Coach is saying. Don't live for what ifs. Live for remember wins. Basically, be aggressive. Be aggressive when it comes to pursuing your goal. Not to piggyback on you or speak for you, Coach, but that's my interpretation of what you're sharing with me as a up-and-coming athlete too.
Yeah, like take advantage of this opportunity of being young, getting to set goals. This is your first time ever trying to get to a certain, make it clear what you want to be. I said when I was a freshman in high school, that was the first year WNBA came about. I was like, I want to play in the WNBA. It happened. And so it's amazing that it happened. And there were so many times that I didn't think it was going to happen. Like when we talk about the depression in college from life and injuries. But if it's for you, nobody can take that away from you. I said my scripture wrong, too, my power scripture. The point of the commandment is to love from a pure heart, good conscience, sincere faith. 1 Timothy 1:5. I just like to be.
Bang, bang. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We got to speak that truth in that word. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that speaks volume to you. Mm-hmm. You know, I always share with my kids and my players that even through that adversity, I actually got a chance to share some of my testimony with Mark last night. Mm-hmm. But when that adversity comes, you know, we have an example that has gone before us, that has gone through everything that we face. In order for us to overcome those battles, that adversity, we got to duplicate everything that he did when he went through those battles too. And he knew who he was. He knew what God's word was, and he anchored on those treasures. And that's what we have to do in order to elevate our mindset. We got to understand whose we are and whose we are, who we are and whose we are. Yeah. You know, and we got to bank and invest in God's promises. And one of the things that I love the fact that you quote a scripture that lets me know you're in the book, good book. But one of the things that I wanted to reiterate and emphasize is the importance of being able to expand your knowledge. And for you coming in, one of my favorite motivational speakers, Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher, he happened to send me an extra copy of 2 of his books, The Secret to Success and also Greatness is Upon You, How to Seize and Sustain Greatness. I'm actually starting to read these 2 books, you know, so I wanted to invest and give you, thank you for coming on board, because we gotta increase our knowledge and we gotta step our game up when it comes to the success that we're designed for and the impact that we are pouring into the community. So, final words, Coach. What's your final message to the people out there?
Final message.
How can they find you too? Also, by the way.
If you want to find me, you can email me at akr@ashleykrobinson.com. So it's my initials at ashleykrobinson.com. You find me on all social medias at Miss ARob 43, MISSAROB 43. And if I had anything to leave everybody with, it's funny that we laugh about shots fired with our teams being about to play this weekend. But the reason why I have to ride for my team is because they're a group of kids and parents that are so dedicated to me and my business partner, Darian Wilson's vision. And they're willing to they get their kids to the workouts. Their kids make every workout. Their kids cry. Their kids go through the hard days. But we see their kids becoming best friends, developing lifelong friendships, and winning and learning to compete. And so if I leave everybody with anything, with all my successes in basketball, I want to give back to our community. And the way I give back to my community is by getting in the gym with these kids and not only telling them all these stories, but teaching them how to have their own stories. And so you can find us on the court tonight at Sportsplex at 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. And we're going to be there running everybody off the court.
Bang,
Shots
bang.
fired.
Bang, bang. That's Coach Robinson. I'm Coach Ray with The Flow. You're listening live here on the Fishbowl Radio Network. I'll see you next week. We'll have a Final Four update. We'll see what we got going on. Stay focused. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend. I love you.
Hey, this is Rhonda Tyler, broker of Key Dimensions Realty, inviting you to listen to my show, Real Talk with Rhonda, every Monday, 5 to 7 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to mark your calendar so you won't miss this opportunity to discuss real estate on all levels with myself and other industry experts. We'll cover topics pertaining to residential and commercial real estate. Thanks in advance for tuning in, and I look forward to having you in the Blue Stream.
On Fishbowl Radio Network.